Reviving Yuletide magic, CAPA, along with Short North Stage, presents a new take on a holiday classic, A Christmas Carol, today on City Chat. CAPA's CEO, Chad Whittington, and Edward Carignan of Short North Stage offer a sneak peek into the upcoming original production. Chad and Edward, thank you very much for coming on to City Chat today.
Glad to be here. For having us.
Can both of you tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you guys do for CAPA?
Sure, I'm the president and CEO of CAPA, and so I have the privilege of overseeing everything that goes on, from running the buildings to working with resident arts groups to bringing in the Broadway series and a lot of other productions all throughout the year. So it's a great place to work, and we get to do something different every day, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really it's a big honor to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Edward, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I am the producing artistic director of Short North Stage. We inhabit the beautiful historic Garden Theater on 5th and High. We produce about 8 large-scale musicals per year, and we mix our local Columbus talent with New York City talent and talent from all over the world.
Chad, could you tell us a little bit about the history of A Christmas Carol and Ohio Theater, and just a little bit more background on this specific production?
Sure. Christmas Carol has a long history at the Ohio Theater. For decades, really almost 30 years, we would present Nebraska Caravan's touring production of the Christmas Carol at Thanksgiving at the Ohio Theater every year. That was a family tradition. We know we have people that come into the theater, their parents brought them when they were young, now they're bringing their own kids, so really something special to be a part of. That tour went away with COVID, and we thought it was going to come back. We heard about 18 months ago, it's not coming back. They're not going to be able to remount. Yet we're hearing from the community how much they want to have A Christmas Carol back at the Ohio Theater. Yeah. So we started to think about how can we make this happen. We're talking with Edward and Short North Stage about a number of other things at the time, and Christmas Carol came up, and he said, hey, we'd be interested in working with you on that, because we really need a local partner to do that. We do a lot of presentation, a little bit of production, but we needed a partner that does production month in and month out, and that was Short North Stage. And they've been great partners through this process. So I guess it was about 10 months ago that we finally signed the documents and said we're ready to go. We're going to make this happen. It's a whirlwind since then, and it's going to be a brand new production. It's really reimagined. We're not trying to copy exactly what the Nebraska Caravan did, but still, it's going to be a traditional Christmas Carol production that people are really going to enjoy. We're going to play the Morton organ just like we did all those years with the Nebraska Caravan's touring production, and so people are going to feel the tradition that they enjoy and yet see something new at the same time, which is really exciting.
That's really awesome, and it's really neat to have both of you here, just because, growing up in Columbus, Short North Stage was just always kind of this like elite theater company, and then CAPA is, kind of just this like huge entity where it's like, okay, like the fatherhood of like theater or whatever, but like it is really cool to see you guys connect. And Edward, can you tell us about like just the start of this entire project and your perspective from Short North Stage and the team you've assembled?
Absolutely. I mean, what an amazing honor to be able to build a brand new production here in Columbus, featuring so many of our local artists, bringing in some guest talent as well, but a new production of A Christmas Carol that's built in Columbus for Columbus. I really love that idea. At Short North Stage, we were used to producing large-scale musicals and plays, but not so many new productions, and it's so neat to assemble a team together to not only write, but write an original score for a new version of A Christmas Carol, assemble a cast, assemble designers and a creative team, and over the past 6 to 8 months, we've been working very hard to make sure that this is a production that will be accessible to all ages, and then also one that's new and has a new take on it. Our writer, Tom Christopher Warren, is a Broadway veteran, has a wonderful voice, and is also playing the character of Scrooge, and he wrote the adaptation from Dickens. Tom Albert, our composer, has written incidental music that's original to this show, and it is so gorgeous. I was in rehearsal listening to it last night, and it just swept me away, swept the cast away. It's been such a unique opportunity, and I'm so thrilled to partner with CAPA on this and have Short North Stage and CAPA working together to build something so spectacular that we hope will come back for years to come.
Yeah, that's really awesome. How do you feel about this production, and what do you want it to? What do you want viewers and people that come see the play feel?
Sure. Well, I think that, many people like myself grew up with A Christmas Carol, not only the novella, but also going to see productions of it locally. I grew up in New Hampshire, so I remember going to our local theater and seeing it every year, and it became a tradition for me and my family. And I love that we can start that tradition over, like Chad said, with families who have seen the Nebraska Theater Caravan production for many years. And then also our goal is to make sure that it's accessible to a younger and teen audience. So we're really engaging those young people to love this sort of classic theater, classic writing. Dickens is such an amazing force in literature, and it's been a real joy to bring that to the stage.
That's amazing. And in the past, has A Christmas Carol always been the traditional Christmas Carol, or was it always there was always a little bit of an adaptation?
It was a pretty traditional Christmas Carol in the
Okay,
past. This
okay.
was a tour that went to multiple cities around the country, and I think when you have that varying expectations, you stay pretty close to center in what you're doing when you have a tour like that. So pretty traditional. I think that's one of the exciting things about doing this locally is the ability to change it over time, grow it. We talked about using recorded music this year, but in the future we could change and have live music for the production. We can start with a set this year that's affordable for the first year, and then add modules later and grow it as a production. So that Short North Stage produces all the time. For CAPA, this is a really unique opportunity for us to do something exciting that we own a part of, and that we can make it our own over the years and adapt it to the audience here in Columbus.
So what happens if this adaptation or this play is just like a huge hit? What would happen then?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our goal is to tour it to other cities. We're going to bring in folks from other cities around Ohio when we have the production here, and hopefully get some interest. That would be our goal. Is it plays Thanksgiving weekend, opens at the Ohio Theater, and then we have the opportunity to tour it throughout other cities in December. And I will say we manage the Schubert Theater in New Haven, Connecticut, and we are taking it out there to run the weekend before Christmas this year as a kind of a test of that touring idea. So that's an exciting aspect to this as well.
Chad, what is your hope, besides it being like this huge hit and the community is just loving it? What is your hope that where this production and this partnership goes?
I hope this is something that we do every year. I like to say we're in the business of experiences and memories, and when you get the feedback like we did about Christmas Carol and how important it was to people and how many great memories they had, that's really important to what we do. And so the hope is that we can do this every year. We can continue to grow it and make it different and magical every year for the audiences here in Columbus and potentially in other cities around the state. As well, and continue to be great partners with Short North Stage on this. And where we go from there, I don't know. I think for CAPA, this, again, it feels like opening the door to something bigger and better for us in terms of production. For so many years we've presented, which in the business means we bring in acts that we pay for that are touring from around the country rather than producing here locally. But finding out now that we have a successful partnership, I think certainly opens the door to more unique Columbus productions in the future.
That's wonderful. Chad, can you give us a sneak peek on rehearsals and how they're going? Are you getting frustrated? Are you excited?
No, not at all. No, listen, first of all, walking into the beautiful rehearsal studios at the Ohio Theater yesterday for our first day of rehearsal was such a thrill for everybody. Just, going through the doors, and you're right there by that gorgeous, gorgeous theater. And we have a wonderful space set up. So that's been really fun. We did a read-through of the show last night with the score playing, and it was magical just to see everyone sort of light up listening to what we're going to be listening to for the next couple of weeks. And then we started some staging, and we actually started some movement. I'm a choreographer as well, so I'm very interested in bringing movement into this piece. And last night was really fun to just sort of test the waters on what we can do in that vein. I've had so much fun prepping for this for 6 months, so starting rehearsal last night really felt like, yes, we're finally hitting the road running, and it's gonna be amazing. The group of talent that we've assembled is really spectacular, and it's so fun always to have out-of-towners here in Columbus working in the theater at Short North Stage, but now really neat to also bring them to the beautiful Ohio Theater and introduce them to our city and show them why this is such an amazing art scene.
That's so cool. I feel like there's like a little spark in your eye, like you're kind of like glowing a little. So I'm so excited to check this out. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this?
Yeah, I think it's really special that we're able to support local artists. I know Edward talks about we're bringing in folks from other places as well to show them Columbus, but I think one of the big wins here versus bringing in someone else's tour of Christmas Carol is the local support for the arts community, specifically Short North Stage and theater. So again, as we talk about future opportunities, we have great talent right here in Columbus. We get to see it all the time. This is going to be another example of that. So for CAPA, that's an important piece of what we're doing, and I think the community supports the local artists in a good way, and I think it's important that CAPA does that too.
Really good. Edward?
Yes, I just hope people come and are ready to be wowed by all the magic. I mean, we can't forget that A Christmas Carol at its heart is a ghost story. And I think that makes it a really fun thing to produce and to create theater magic for. And that will also really engage that younger generation that I talked about. They'll keep them interested, keep them engaged with the story.
Well, thank you both so much. We're lucky to have both of you guys and keeping theater and music alive here in Columbus. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm Josie Smith. Thanks for watching City Chat on CTV.